Welcome to Selling Lies with Jay Gray, where we rip off the mask of the everyday products we blindly consume and reveal the uncomfortable truths hidden behind corporate marketing. Today, we're talking about recycling plastics. By the way, please like and subscribe. Remember, you deserve the truth. Let's dive in. For decades, we've been told that tossing our plastic containers into a blue bin was doing our part to save the planet. The iconic chasing arrow symbol made us feel like our consumption was part of a clean, circular process. But what if the entire idea of plastic recycling was built on a lie? One constructed not to help the environment, but to protect corporate profits. The plastic recycling movement didn't emerge from environmental groups. It was engineered in the late 70s and 80s by the oil and plastic industries. Facing mounting pressure from growing environmental awareness, these industries needed a PR solution. Enter the recycling myth. Companies like ExxonMobil and DuPont began promoting plastic recycling, knowing full well that the infrastructure and economics simply didn't support it. Internal documents have since revealed that the industry understood plastic recycling was unlikely to ever be a viable solution, but it would serve as a great distraction. The result? Consumers kept buying. People believed that they could consume plastic guilt-free as long as they tossed it into the right bin. The chasing arrow symbol reinforced the illusion, but most of those plastics were never recycled. In fact, studies show that only 5 to 9% of all plastics ever produced has actually been recycled. The rest? Landfills, oceans, and incinerators. One of the biggest turning points came in 2018 when China enacted its national sword policy, refusing to accept low-quality plastic waste from other countries. Up until then, much of the West's plastic recycling was simply being shipped overseas. When that pipeline shut down, plastics began piling up domestically. Municipalities couldn't handle the volumes. Recycling programs were cut, and suddenly, the illusion started to crack. People began to realize that a water bottle with a recycling symbol on it doesn't mean they will actually be recycled. In fact, many plastics are labeled as recyclable, even when local facilities can't process them. Items contaminated by food waste, made of mixed materials, or categorized as number 3 to number 7 plastics often end up in the trash anyway. Despite this, corporations doubled down on their green messaging. Companies like Coca-Cola, Nestle, and PepsiCo, among the world's largest plastic polluters, continued to flood the market with single-use plastics while touting their sustainability efforts. Our bottles are 100% recyclable, they proclaimed, conveniently ignoring that recyclable does not mean recycled. The burden falls on the consumer, while producers dodge accountability. And what happens to the plastic that doesn't make it into a new bottle? In many cases, it's incinerated, releasing toxic chemicals into the air, or dumped into developing countries ill-equipped to manage the waste. These communities, often already marginalized, suffer from the environmental and health consequences of the West's waste. The entire system has become a psychological trap. We continue to use plastics, thinking we're being responsible. We've been trained to feel good about recycling without questioning the broader system that produces so much waste in the first place. It's wish cycling, the hopeful tossing of plastic into the bin, even when deep down we know it probably won't be reused. The truth is, recycling alone will never solve the plastic crisis. The problem lies at the production level. We make too much plastic, and we make it in ways that are difficult or impossible to reuse. What we need is a systematic change, bans on single-use plastics, investment in alternative materials, and most importantly, holding corporations accountable for the waste they produce. Recycling was never the solution. It was a smokescreen, a convenient lie designed to keep the machine running, and it's time we stop believing it. Well, what did you think of the podcast? Please leave a comment down below, and remember to like and subscribe. I'm Jay Gray. Thank you for listening to this episode of Selling Lies. See you next time, and remember, the truth should never be recycled. Good night.